Welcome to the JockStrap Nerd Chat podcast, the only show on the internet that brings nerd culture and sports, puts them together into one cohesive unit, possibly. To my right, Chris, how you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. How you doing today, Justin?
I am doing fine. To my left, Joel, how you feeling? You look like you've worked about 15 hours today.
Yep. A lot of accounting. I've been accounting for things, a lot of meetings. So I'm kind of
accounting for things.
Accounting for things.
Yeah.
Is
like,
it true
like
that
monies.
cocaine runs rampant in accountants' lives?
Only in the 80s.
Nope, not where Joel works. It's alcohol.
I really wish sometimes that cocaine ran rampant where I work because it's really hard to stay focused after like 10 hours of invoicing. Yes. And I'm about to be just balls deep in international invoices.
Sounds so interesting.
It's
But
really
moving
not.
on.
It's really not. It's grindy.
What are we starting off with, Joel?
Well, today we wanted to talk about the NBA Finals a little bit. We have the semifinals starting off soon, but we're still in the quarters. With we just had Golden State and Cleveland sweep their series, but we got Game 5 coming up for Houston and San Antonio. And
They play tonight, actually.
They're playing right now.
Yeah, and Game 5 for Boston and the Wizards.
Which that series is also tied up, isn't it? 2-2.
Yeah, yep, 2-2.
Yeah, so got at least a couple more games on each side.
Yep, and Golden. It's looking like it's gonna probably be another Golden State Cleveland matchup for the third year in a row.
Yep. I remember like earlier. I think when we talked about basketball, I think it was maybe like a month ago or so, or 3 weeks or something. I thought the San Antonio Spurs would actually make it to the finals, but I don't think they are. They lost Tony Parker.
Yeah.
I think a week and a half ago. Well, and then
I saw
they
that.
announced earlier today
Blew his
the Rockets
tendon.
lost in an A.
Oh, did they?
He's out for the rest of the playoffs. So
I didn't think the Rockets would make it anyway, just because. I mean, they have James Harden, yeah, but they run that D'Antoni offense, and like that's never proven to be able to go very far. Golden State's done the nearest version of that's actually worked, but ever since D'Antoni's he was with Phoenix forever, and they always had great seasons, and they never were able to go that far into the playoffs with it. But I don't know. But I still think it's just going to be Golden State Cleveland at the end of the day. But yeah.
Well, after those injuries to those two teams, I don't know who else. I mean, I feel like
Boston's the only one who can give Golden State or give Cleveland a run for their money, and I don't really see anyone giving Golden State a problem until they get to the finals. So
yeah. Well, and I actually kind of really like the way the Wizards have been playing. So I don't know. I could see them actually pulling it out. And
Wizards are kind of fun team to watch.
well, and John Wall is just having like a career year. He's playing really, really well right now.
He's so good.
Well, I was reading the stat the other day that he's like I think he's the first player in NBA playoff history, or maybe just Wizards history, that's averaged more than 7 assists in a game, more than like 25 points a game, and more than like 2 or 3 steals a game consistently for this is like the 8th game in a row or 7th game in a row or something. So, I mean, that guy's fucking balling out right now.
For sure. How's Beal doing? I haven't paid much attention to that series.
I think he's consistently always one of those guys that scores like 22 points a game, 23 points a game, has the potential to drop 40.
Spots up.
I'm a big fan of Beal, though.
Yeah.
He gets overlooked a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Little side note on this. A game came out recently that is relevant to this because it's called NBA Playgrounds. And it just came out today.
Oh, that came out today?
Yeah.
That looks actually awesome.
It looks awesome. It's basically like NBA Street and NBA Jam mixed together, but it's kind of cool because how you know how people get on fire in NBA Jam? Mm-hmm. It's a little more complex in the sense that when you start to get on a roll, you doing things like dunking or blocking shots, a little meter fills up. And when it fills up, you get like a random perk. It's like lottery style, but it's kind of like Mario Kart. Where you run over like a question mark and then it goes all random and then something pops up.
Really?
It's the same thing. And it could be like 3 times points on your next shot. Or like I saw someone hit a 4 or a 12-point 3-pointer
really?
in a game and stuff.
So
like
it's going to
that.
probably do just like Mario Kart and kick you back to give you the really good shit if you're losing.
Yeah. But it looks a lot like NBA Jam. Like if you if you play.
It's just a much more stylized version of it.
Yeah,
Like
but
for-
you have to like unlock card packs, and those card packs have players in them. And unlike NBA Jam, you don't have to actually play with the same 2 players on the same team. You can just pick 2 random players.
So
as
almost
long
like
as you
a
have 'em
combination of Street Jam and the what is it called in Madden Ultimate Team or something?
Yeah, kind of. Except you just unlock those guys, and then you can play with them whenever.
the
But
cards
it's a
and stuff,
mixture
yeah.
of like classic guys from like way back in the '80s and stuff like that, and
To
to
everybody now.
everyone now. So,
It's pretty cool.
I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna be picking this up on my Switch when I get it.
dude, it's only $20 too. And
That's it, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna go download it now.
But I don't. The only problem is I don't think it has online play right now. But I think that's coming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's gonna come.
I remember reading that actually. That was like the one knock that they've had so
Like
far is you can't play
if
online.
it had online play, I'd be buying this now, and I'd want to go home and just play with everybody.
That'd be
And,
so fun.
yeah. So, sorry, a little sidetrack, but I
It's
thought
okay.
that was relevant.
It's video game and
Just came out
basketball
today.
related, so it works.
Oh, it's
Nerd
just-
culture, sports, boom.
Yeah, and it's also just a very classic video game style. Like the arcadey basketball style is something people don't do that much anymore, and it was always super fun.
Well, you can literally just sit around and play that for hours with friends, and it takes a while to get bored.
It looks like exactly like Jam the way it plays though, 2-on-2, people shoving each other, just jumping
Beautiful.
out of the gym, blocking
Basically,
each other.
the way that I play NBA 2K17.
Yeah, just shoving people down. I do that too with my center booty work.
Yeah, it's a real thing. We used to play NBA 2K. We used to all create our own characters and play as a team together. And
I'm always first name booty, last name work, because I just work them in the post with that butt.
he would just make it like a 7'6", like 300-pound guy, which oddly enough would never dunk the ball. It didn't matter if he was on a fast break; he would go up and lay it up.
He would like turn into a layup with his like the rims here.
Well, I
and his
remember like
chins
there was
here,
one year
and
that
he
they
would
had
just lay
like
it up off the backboard up here.
there was one year that they had like you had to press like an extra button just to do a freaking dunk. Like I don't know why, but like every time it was the same kind of thing.
If
Like,
it was
I
on
had
a
guy who was,
drive,
like 7 feet tall, and you always get freaking line drive go.
I think though you had
Damn
to do
it.
that
Is it
in
like
2000.
left trigger, right trigger, X or something.
2K11 and 2K12, I think you had to do that. It wouldn't just automatically dunk, especially if you were running out of turbo.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So
Back to the playoffs.
Sweet.
I'm just gonna say, just check that game out if you like arcadey basketball games, because I will be checking it out. Can't say I've played it yet, so maybe have more info later.
So back to the playoffs. We got so it's gonna end up probably being the Cavaliers and Golden State again.
Yeah.
And everybody's pretty unanimous in believing that Golden State's going to take that, right?
It's kind of
No?
split. I
I
mean,
mean, the Cavaliers
I think Golden State has the better odds, but I could see the Cavs pulling it out again. So it's
Well, I think part of it's LeBron is just playing like LeBron.
yeah, LeBron's
well,
beast mode.
Pulling
He's like
out
shooting-
does lead
he-
to
well,
a better
he's-
performance.
I think he's shooting at 40% or right around there from 3-point, which is significantly better than his like career average, which is like 34% or some shit.
Yeah.
Especially I think after it was either earlier in the season or last year, he was shooting really bad from 3-point land.
Yeah, and if he's hitting from outside, it's really hard to
You can't stop him.
because that's like basically the way you guard LeBron is you
Make him shoot.
Yeah, you make him shoot from the outside and don't let him drive. And if he's hitting from the outside, then that makes you have to guard up on him. And if you have to guard up on him, he'll just blow by you because he's faster and bigger than you are.
Yeah, and then whoever's going to come out and help on the backside is just going to get their balls dunked on.
Yeah, he's still a
Bastard.
freak. That dude, he's only like 32, isn't he?
31, 32, something like that.
32.
His-
He's been playing for like 14 years already.
Something I didn't realize. So I looked it up the other day. I think it was yesterday or maybe the day before. You know Kawhi Leonard, who's playing, I mean, just as good as anybody in the NBA right now. And
Yeah, he's
I-
great.
you know he's only 25?
Really?
Yeah.
It seems like he's been there forever.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, what has he been playing for? 5-6 years? He has. This is his 5th year in the league.
Wow.
He
Came
played
in off
at
his freshman year of college.
no, he played 2 years at San Diego State, I think.
Yep.
Came out of nowhere, but I mean, great value pick for San Antonio because that's the kind of player that you can build around. And that guy's consistently, if you look at his numbers, gotten not just like a little better, but significantly better year over year over year.
Yeah, they got lucky with him because they got a value pick in him because he was a later round guy, and he ended up being a superstar. And they got a superstar like right on the end of Tim Duncan's career, and so it's like someone you can just transition from one superstar to the other to keep that core of your team.
Well, especially when you got a player like Kawhi. I mean, he plays very similar to LeBron. Like, he's just a bigger body. He's probably, I mean, he's not as big as LeBron, but he's a big guy. He's like 6'7", I think. So he's only like an inch or two shorter than LeBron. He's probably pushing like 240. So he's a big guy. Yeah, he's big, strong, athletic.
Strong man.
You know, he's like 6'7" and has like a 7'6" wingspan.
That's real.
Or 7'5" or
So
something.
it's
ridiculous.
crazy when guys are built like that.
That's why he's like one of the better defensive players in the league. That guy's long, athletic, and it's hard to drive around him.
You hear that, Mom? The shit you told me in grade school is bullshit. I'm not this tall.
I think the average is supposed to be that. I know I am, but I've known a lot of people that aren't.
Whether their long arms aren't as long as their body.
Yeah.
Or vice
I'm like
versa.
that too. I'm 5'9", but my wingspan's like 6'2".
I'm 6'2", and my wingspan's 6'2", so.
No, so it worked for you.
Right on the average on that. Just think of if people like that with their long-ass arms and tall bodies fought in MMA. Speaking of MMA.
Speaking of MMA, huge
What
fight
do we
card
get?
happening this weekend.
What do we have?
We got UFC 211 going down last
211?
week. 211.
2-1.
211. Which I believe when me and Trevor were talking about it, I said 203 for some reason. That's a thing that happened.
You're only 8 numbers off.
Only.
You were close, though.
About 5 months ago, I want to say, is when
close.
203 happened.
Joel says not at all. Not even close.
But if you want to see like a full breakdown of this card, me and Trevor O'Connor of the Final Bell sat right here in the studio and talked about every fight going through. And there's a lot of good stuff. So if you want to see like the full breakdown, definitely check out that video. It'll be in the description down below. But what I want to talk about right now are like the main value bets that I see. Just
We're going to
looking at the
teach you how
odds.
to gamble.
I mean, with like candy, not with money.
No, because that's illegal.
That's illegal.
What you do with this information outside of that, that's up to you.
It's not illegal.
Wow,
in
that's
certain places.
amazing. So, I mean, one thing that Joel just pointed at that I'm not sure he's pointing at for the reason that I find amazing is that Joanna Jędrzejczyk, the 115
I just wanted
pound
to know
champion,
how to pronounce that name.
It's Jędrzejczyk.
A lot of consonants.
I feel like you're being confident and that's how you say it, but then when you actually say it, it sounds like you don't know what you're doing.
Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
That sounds better.
John Jacek. There we go. It's John Jacek.
You got to say it with confidence.
Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
Yeah, that was very good.
Well, you do that. You do it like that.
Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah,
Fuck
that was way
you.
better.
All right. Okay. So we know that he is more likely to be the next Bruce Buffer than me. We know that it's what it is. But she's been the dominant champion at that weight class for a really long time and has looked unbeatable against everybody. But it like odds wise, it's really coming down to a pick 'em, which is really surprising. I thought that she was going to be a really heavy favorite, but I mean she's sitting at about, I'd say, an average of about 152. I think that's what those highlighted ones are. And Jessica Andrade only coming in at a plus 145, so that's kind of even money. I think if you're putting money on Jessica Andrade, I mean, she's a tough son
Is
of
she
a bitch.
older or something? Why isn't there a larger disparity between who's potential, like who the favorite is? Who the favorite is?
I think it might be that there's nobody really betting on it.
You think it'll
there's
end up
not a
changing
lot-
as you get closer?
I'm sure it will. I mean,
Because it's
Andrade
this Saturday,
is-
right?
Yes, it's this Saturday.
So for everybody listening, this is actually, you'll be listening to this 2 days before the fight.
yeah, so you can actually use these tips that we're giving you. But Jessica Andrade is 25, and Joanna. We're gonna.
It's a
go
good
ahead.
picture right there. Doesn't look like a dude. Dude does not look like a lady. Don't know how to say fighters' names. Don't know how to type.
Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
Johnny Paycheck. Who the fuck is Johnny Paycheck? There is a Johnny Paycheck.
There is a Johnny
Wait, who was
Paycheck.
that? Go back.
Go back. Now we have to
Joanna
do this.
Jędrzejczyk. God damn it.
Go back to Johnny Paycheck. I want to know about his life.
Johnny Paycheck.
Well, that's one tough looking son of a bitch.
Singer Johnny Paycheck.
There's going to be a picture right here. So that way everybody knows who Johnny Paycheck is. Not to be,
Everybody needs to know who.
that way they're not confused.
What is this?
He looks like a Sasquatch with a headband.
So what you're going to need to do, Justin, is put Johnny Paycheck right here. And then whoever you're searching for over here, so everyone knows,
Johanna Jędrzejczyk.
because you don't need to get those confused. Because if you put money on Johnny Paycheck, don't think it's going to work in your favor. Or it might. It's Johnny Paycheck.
If I ever become an MMA fighter, I will go as Johnny Paycheck.
This might be my favorite fighting segment we've ever had.
God damn
Jesus, did he fucking Christ.
it's all, or bestfightodds.com is kind of a pain in the ass to work with. And so am I. And Joanna is 29.
Is that old for a fighter? No? Not the prime fight, right?
No, that's
Is that in
that's
prime?
young for a champion for sure. That was posed earlier. Joanna is still older. She's been champion for about 2 years now. And I think anybody that bets against her is crazy because she is a beast, to say the
Tell
least.
that
Is
to
she
the
actually a
odds
pretty
makers.
fighter?
Pretty? I mean,
That's a good photo.
she's no Paige Van Zandt.
I think that it should go one of two ways. Like I always see women like in the posters for fights that look really pretty, and then they just they don't put any makeup on. They have their hair all cornrowed, and they're just ready to go out there thug like. I think it's got to go one of two ways. Either the women need to take poster pictures like they fight, or the men need to get real dolled up. And they have to get the poster pictures taken just super
Yeah, 'cause once you
made
get
up,
to the
just like the
actual-
women, just like get their hair did.
Because once you get to the actual fight, you see the women come out. It's like, wait, who the fuck are these?
It's like that's not the two women.
Those
I
aren't the
just saw.
supermodels I saw.
Well, no,
Paige
she's
Van
freaking.
Zandt.
She's smoking hot, no matter what.
Oh, Jesus
I mean, even with the cornrows,
I actually just want to see the guys just really made up.
even with the cornrows, I'll take it.
Yeah, now she just looks like a white girl that wants to be black, but still really pretty.
White girls with cornrows. Never fuck with white girls with cornrows. They're crazy. They'll slit your throat and not even give a damn.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
Can't say I've experienced that, but I'm gonna take your word on it.
Maybe it's because we generally avoid the white
Girls with cornrows.
You see them in the aisle, in the hall, or in the line when you're shopping, and you
just
go the other way.
No, I didn't need chips. I
didn't
don't
need
need
those.
corn chips. So
take Doritos
the
and
basic
walk away.
talk of the entire fight is I'm surprised that it's even money. But what I was gonna say at the beginning was the best money pick if you're wanting to play your money on an underdog. Right now is going to be Henry Cejudo versus Sergio Pettis. Sergio Pettis is not anybody to sleep on. He's younger brother of Anthony Pettis,
Who's favored there?
Henry Cejudo is the favorite.
Okay.
He is an average of a minus 397. And,
Pretty big margin or no?
Oh, it's a huge margin.
Yeah, okay. I don't know what the
Because
margins are in fighting. I know most other things went out there.
It's basically going to be between like a 3 and a 4 to 1. It's going to be right around there. So it's decent.
And you think that's nuts?
Well, I mean, for this card, I mean, no other fights are bigger or a bigger spread than that.
Yeah.
So that'd be a good one where taking the underdog could pay off?
I seriously think it could. I mean, I think that 6 out of 10 fights, Henry Cejudo can win. He's an excellent wrestler coming out of Arizona. He's fought for the title, lost. Demetrius Johnson is just on another level at the flyweight division. They're little guys. They're
Is it the Mighty Mouse?
125ers. Yeah,
I like
Mighty
that
Mouse.
guy.
He's a cool guy. He's all into video games.
Yeah.
He'd be a perfect guest for this show because he is the epitome of sports and nerd culture in one.
Be friends with us. We will cook you dinner.
But yeah,
High
these are
five.
the little
By
scrappy
Jimmy Jones.
125ers. Sergio, I think the biggest thing that Sergio's bringing with him is the information that his brother has from being a past champion of the lightweight division, and the training camp out there is really tough. They turn out, people like Tyron Woodley, who is the welterweight champion. I mean, like I said, Anthony Pettis, who was lightweight champion, and now Sergio Pettis has been going on a tear lately, and I think that he has the possibility to get up to Mighty Mouse. I don't think he's going to beat Mighty Mouse because I don't think anybody can, but I think that he could. There's definitely a possibility of him beating Henry Cejudo, especially at 3 to 1, 4 to 1 odds.
Yeah, everything you just said, I'm going to take those odds. I'm going to bet on the underdog with candy.
With
Doing it
candy,
now.
only with candy.
All right. Well, good to know.
It's gonna be edited down to like 2
Just so
minutes.
everybody knows, we are going to get better at talking about this fighting stuff because it's not going away.
And one last note I'd like to say on the sports front is the Kentucky Derby was this weekend. So if you want to see the dapperest mofos you've ever seen in your life, check out our Facebook page where we have a few pictures of these two guys. And try not to look at my legs because you may be blinded. I haven't gotten any sun yet.
Hey, the sun reflection was strong on those legs.
You know what's funny is Joel asked me if I used the filter, and that's like, no, that's just your legs.
Hashtag no filter.
You were showing me a filter that made it wider. So I was like, did you actually post it with that filter? You're like, no, I used the other one.
I just used the original.
Fuck, I'm just that white. That's okay. All right. Well, moving on.
Real fast.
Spoiler alert.
Hold on, rewind real fast. In the near future, we are going to be having Trevor on this show as a regular guest for the JockStrap Nerd Chat podcast. If you guys have any questions for him, being a retired fighter, or as he puts it, semi-retired fighter, make sure to throw those down in the comments.
Still kicks ass on the side. He's a vigilante and nobody knows it.
Yeah, well, I mean, he trains just up the road, so he's always training, always ready for a fight. The right person with the right purse, he'll definitely go for it.
How old is the guy?
I want to say he was 40
ish.
40?
40-ish?
39? So right around there. But yeah, put those in the comments down below, and
just
we'll
in
ask
general, if you have any questions in general,
Yeah.
just put them in there.
Yeah.
Gives us something to talk about. Then you can be interactive and you can be part of the show too.
All right.
All
And
right, all right, all right.
now for a major spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Boom.
Brought to you by
So-
nobody.
Brought to you by Deadpool.
Last weekend, the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 came out and opened to a whopping $145 million domestically, which was about I think it was like a 46% increase to the first volume.
Yeah, I think the first one was like 90 million or something like that.
Yeah, 97.
Didn't it do almost like $500,000 worldwide?
Worldwide, yeah, like hit 425 million, I think. So
425 billion.
billion. Good wait till next weekend. But yeah, anyway, we are not the only ones that were excited about this, obviously, because a lot of people paid a lot of money to go see it. So I don't know. What do you guys think about it?
Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it from beginning
Loved
to
it.
end. Only criticism, and we talked about it the other day, and it's literally the only thing I would give a knock on. It seemed like they tried to force it a little bit with the comedy, with a little bit of the laughter. I think they kind of felt like they had to be as good and as funny as the first one, which obviously you always want to be as good or better, right? And I think they kind of forced a little extra comedy I didn't need it. Like
Especially-
Drax's
Yeah, that's
over the
exactly
top
what I was gonna
laughter. I feel like that's all he did.
See,
It was awesome. though.
Which
kind
is
of
a little bit disappointed. I'm sorry, guys.
I kind of disagree a little bit just because, I mean, that wasn't the thing that disappointed me. I would say that they tried to force more of the touching moments more than they tried to force the comedy. Like there was the part where like Yondo was relating to Rocket. It was like, I know who you are because I'm you. And I was just like, that was kind of very generic moment to me. Like where it was.
They crammed it in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was very obvious. Like. What they were trying to do there, and there were just some moments like that to me. I mean, I get what you're saying with the comedy, and like there were some parts that didn't land as hard as they were trying to go for, but there was also some over the top cheesiness that
was awesome.
That was like my favorite part was when he made him,
Yeah.
when he taught him how to make the ball of light, and then they just have this like slow motion touching father son catch going on. Just the both of them. Kurt Russell, especially, his smile on his face when they were doing
He
that.
just like such a
like
proud
the proud
dad.
papa. Yeah. It was,
You know what's awesome
I
is
was
when
laughing so hard
when it got to that spot too. It started at like you saw the build up, like you knew that was coming because when he started building it, he kind of tossed it to him and then he tossed it back
Yeah.
and slowly it started getting over the
I
hand.
didn't think they were gonna like go full.
And then
like,
Kurt Russell started getting he started stepping further back, and then all of a sudden it's just slow motion. It was so awesome. It was great build up for that.
To echo what you guys are saying, especially with Drax, like the kind of upsetting thing is that his name is Drax the Destroyer.
Yeah.
I didn't see him destroy anything. Like
Yeah, right.
There was
He destroyed
at the
that thing
beginning-
he hopped into on the inside.
Yeah, I was about to say the beginning credits that you saw, or the opening credits, if you will, where you see mostly Baby Groot, is the only time you see him destroy anything, which he didn't even destroy. Gamora did, and he was inside just
Which was pretty
doing
funny.
nothing.
That opening fight scene, though, was probably one of my more favorite parts, too, outside of the random, like, cheesiness stuff that
It was kind of great the way they, like, did the whole thing from Groot's perspective, and you just see, like, all the battle going on in the background. It's, like, this crazy just flying around and just shooting and stabbing and just awesome action, but all you could really concentrate on was little Baby Groot.
And he's sitting there fighting those little weird rat thingies and getting pissed off, and then he doesn't know what he's doing, and he's looking around like.
And Gamora tells him to stay out of the way, and he's just like...
It's the essence of a child.
God, Marvel knew what they had with that, and they fucking capitalized on it, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, Baby Groot was great, and I don't know, I liked... it was kind of like I didn't expect them to get into the whole like ego thing that quickly. I understand why they revealed it in the trailers now though, because they just like real quickly got to Kurt Russell, and then they went to Ego's planet, and
Which is cool. They actually did it like his whole face was the planet.
yeah. Well, that was like it was in the comics too.
Yeah.
When they actually pulled away and you saw it, it looked exactly like the comics, which I thought was awesome. But yeah, I like the way they did Kurt Russell as just kind of a being that was he was the planet, but they also like had like
He was almost like
form.
the universe, like he was the creator of everything.
Yeah,
From his perspective,
he was a
for sure.
god, and that was the coolest thing. Like, I mean, in Marvel, they always call them like Celestials, and they're like these. I think like the origin of the Infinity Stones comes from like a Celestial, where they said like he was the only being in existence, and he ended up he killed himself and created the 7 Infinity Stones in doing so, and that in turn created the universe. So it's like they basically made Ego like a god on that kind of level, and they're just deities in the Marvel universe, which is always really cool. And they showed that a little bit too in the first Guardians when they were like showing the little video that went along with the explanation that the Collector was giving for the power gem.
Oh yeah,
And they showed some Celestials in that too, but like as this is the first time we actually met one in the Marvel universe, and it was like he basically was just trying to become the entire galaxy.
Which is kind of cool to see. Like, there's a character that's actually more powerful than everything.
Yeah, it took millions of years for him to get there, and then he
Got took
planted
down
a
in
bunch
a
of
matter
seeds.
of
No, then he ran
A
to the
day.
Guardians of the Galaxy on a foot, shoved up his ass.
Well, he made the mistake of putting a tumor in Peter Quill's.
Oh
mom's
man,
head.
that moment I was like, "What? What?
Why did you even say that out loud?
If he hadn't have said that, it would have been fine.
I know,
He
like-
had him on his side.
Yeah, like he had the starry-eyed look and everything.
He
And
was
he's like, made me feel bad that I had to put a tumor in her brain.
Yeah,
It's like,
basically
why
had
did
two
you
gods
do
on
that?
two gods that were ready to take over the universe. And even though I think Peter Quill would have came to his senses one way or another, but that snapped him out of it so hard. And I love how he just like without thinking just starts shooting the shit out of him, just like blasting pieces off of him.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was
missing
great.
like his head, like parts of his head. It was great.
Another one of my favorite moments was the Nebula Gamora battle when she came to Ego and like chased her down in that jet.
She was driving through a cavern that
cabin,
the ship didn't
yeah.
even fit in.
Yeah, she was on a fucking rampage. And
She's like
She's
the epitome of like terrible, like angry middle child.
yeah,
She somehow managed to get it to turn in those caverns and still just keep shooting.
and the coolest moment that came from that was when she had crashed it at the end and was trying to get out of the jet, and Gamora just like picks up that like thing that's like 10
Giant
times
turret.
her size and just throws it on her shoulder. Nothing's looked more comic booky or cartoony, I think, in any comic book. But it works so well. It looks so cool. I love that visual.
I don't know why, but I get such a strange boner from Gamora.
It's
Well,
Zoe Saldana.
yeah, she's also just really
I've loved her
attractive.
I've loved her since like the first time I saw her in Avatar, and before. Or I mean, she was CGI in Avatar, but I saw her like
So
in
you
the
had an
making of
awkward
that.
boner in that.
Oh man, they were all sexy. All those cat people.
Yeah, they all got really
Sam Worthington does it for you.
Oh yeah.
just long athletic bodies will do it.
No, yeah. Zoe Saldana. I thought she was great in it. I mean, Peter Quill. Chris Pratt has just become such a huge superstar, and there's a reason for that. He just has all the like.
He fits that character so well too.
He's so charismatic.
Because he's got that thing that he's kind of like that goofy kind of kid, but he's still like somehow manages to put off like a tough persona sort of by being Peter Quill. But then he's
still Andy
the comic
Dwyer.
really, yeah, exactly.
He's still Andy Dwyer from Parks and Rec, and he's just Andy Dwyer got ripped, and basically it turned out he was leading man handsome underneath all of that chub, and he lost 70 pounds.
It was a lot of weight.
Yeah. And it was but you still see like moments of that Andy Dwyer-ness, and it's why he's so charming and likable. And I thought he was perfect. He's been the perfect casting, which I never would have thought in a million years.
I was unsure of when they casted him too. It's like I wonder how that's gonna work out.
Do you know who it turns out the runner-up was for Star-Lord?
Who?
The guy who plays Dennis on It's Always Sunny.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I can't ever remember the actor's name, but he was the runner-up for that role.
Yeah, I'm so glad it didn't go to him. I mean, I love It's Always Sunny, but
Yeah, but that would have been a weird transition. Like it's different. He plays like a sociopath on that.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have really liked that at all. You guys know something kind of cool that I found out today when I was reading? So I'm assuming everybody by now knows that Baby Groot's voice is still Vin Diesel.
Mm-hmm.
It did almost no change in his actual voice, like any auto-tuning or anything. Apparently, Vin Diesel's been working on a comic book cartoony voices since he was young. So that was like mostly still him.
That's pretty great.
oh man,
I want to hear Vin Diesel making Baby Groot voices.
I just want to see. Yeah, I just want to see the video of him being. I am Groot.
Yeah, but it's kind of cool because when I was reading the interview and there's a little video with it, he was talking about how he actually really liked that he still got to do Baby Groot voice, especially since he's already been working on cartoonish voices forever, because he doesn't have to go work out anymore. He can just get up and go to work, doesn't have to work on making sure he has a six-pack ab when he goes in there, and all the while, though, Peter Quill still has to do that because he still has to be jacked. Even though you don't ever see him with the shirt off anymore. Just has that jacket on.
No, he has one scene in both movies.
Yeah.
Just one.
That's for the ladies.
It's got to be in the contract somewhere, I'm sure. It's like,
Dude,
I just want to be shirtless in one scene each movie.
That's every Marvel superhero is like they have to be shirtless for at one moment or another. Like
Except for Robert Downey Jr. because he's probably got a dad bod going on.
I mean, he was shirtless
he's
in
actually-
early on.
yeah. He's actually in pretty good shape for somebody who's in his like 50s. Yeah.
And also not Mark,
The one where
Mark Ruffalo doesn't have to either.
The
'cause
one
he
where they
just turns
took out
into Hulk.
the thing in his chest. He took his shirt off for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a dad bod that somebody who works out like 3 times a week still.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
He's no Chris Hemsworth is what I'm
I
saying.
mean, Paul Rudd when he got cast as Ant-Man, he got the 6-pack even.
He's like, I got this.
Yeah.
We need to put it in
That's
one
a weird.
shot.
That was
That's a
a weird
weird
one.
person to have a 6-pack.
Yeah, Paul Rudd. Yeah, that was weird because it seems like besides that movie, he's always playing like some like lovable friend or kind of guy that's
Just-
like doesn't
just a
he doesn't
dad.
need to be in shape. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of some other cool stuff too, so
Are
it
we
was
done?
mostly for sure, absolutely confirmed that Stanley is a watcher.
Yeah, that
I thought it was
that
he
was
was
really
the
cool.
informer to the Watchers.
Or something like that. Yeah, I think it's right. He was an informer, maybe.
I
Or
think he's
informant to the
I think
Watchers.
he's technically a watcher. Like that was a fan theory for a very long time because it would explain why he was in every single movie in different roles because he had just been assuming different identities to
whether Marvel
to
planned that out
to
or not,
just watch
that's awesome.
that. And then I think the thing was that he was just like a really annoying watcher because when they showed him, he was with 3 other watchers and they just were like tired of hearing his stories by the end of the last cutscene.
They're just
like,
walking away and leaving him.
Did I tell you when I was a FedEx man? that was pretty great. I love the Adam Warlock cocoon that they showed at the
Yeah.
end. Adam Warlock's gonna be like a pretty epic character, but he was a huge part of Infinity Wars, and he's not gonna be in it.
No,
this
he's
time
not going to be
around.
in any of that. So I'm curious how they're going to do it because he was one of the big protagonists during like the Thanos era. So
It'll just be a different thing, but I'm sure Thanos will still be around by the time Warlock shows up because there's going to be a gap in between Infinity Wars and whatever the last one's called, which they haven't confirmed yet. But I have heard a spoiler that says it might be called Gauntlet.
oh yeah. By didn't Saldana actually fuck up?
Yeah, Zoe Saldana like said something about like the time in between. She was in an interview, said something about the time in between Infinity War and Gauntlet, and basically they took that as like, wait, in between the one Avengers movie, because they were talking about the two Avengers movies, and she called the second one Gauntlet, so she might have slipped up and let that name sneak through.
That Adam Warlock thing was really cool, though. And last thing I want to bring up, too, is did you guys notice that was actually the original Guardians of the Galaxy that they assembled together at the very end?
Stallone.
Yeah, Sylvester Stallone, which I'm super excited to see.
Yeah, minus Yondu. But, yeah, that was technically from, like, the very first.
You know, it was Miley Cyrus that was the voice of that robot?
The robot face, yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
And we talked about that, too, that it might be maybe foreshadowing for later. What's that serpent's name that... He may be another one of the sorcerers like Doctor Strange. Remember he did that little thing, which is exactly how they create their magic, where he did the little weird thumbs up.
Which one? What are you talking about?
At the end when they showed the when they assembled basically the original Guardians, that red little serpent thing. I think we talked about it almost immediately after it happened.
I don't remember talking about that with you.
Because he was been another Sorcerer Supreme possibly. Because he did, which I think I think in the comic books he actually is like that, those people like they're Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah, I do now remember that.
He did this cool thing, and like little thumbs up came up, but it was the same Doctor Strange stuff. It's cool.
Yep.
You're
not ringing a bell.
You're not absurd.
Not ringing a bell.
You don't know shit about shit, man.
You don't know shit
about shit.
About shit.
But that, I don't know. I personally thought that was one of the better Marvel movies, probably top 5 for me. But I don't know. People were. I felt like all I heard about it was that it's good. It's just not the original.
Which is fine. Like, because I agree with that sentiment, but just because it's not the original doesn't mean that it's not a really good one. Because I mean, like you just said, I'd say that it's still in my top 5 as well.
And I said earlier too, it's like I think it's just as good as the first one.
If it's not as good as the best, then it's still like makes it like second or third best.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's like I think it's just as good as the first one. I think they just tried to push a little bit of extra comedy when they didn't really need to.
I love James Gunn's directing style, man.
James Gunn is so good.
It's great storytelling. He moves it along really well, and he also just fits in like some very relevant stuff. It was a little more difficult because they tried to fit in a lot more characters. I think they had 8 Guardians of the Galaxy by the end of it with Yondu and Nebula and Mantis.
Well, technically 7 because Yondu. But
by the end, yes. But there was that moment when they were all in the core of what's his face, Ego.
When they were
all
inside
8 of them were together. It was like, oh, that's a lot of Guardians all of a sudden.
Well, they had a Guardian Galaxy, bro.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to do it.
And speaking of Yondu, like I was really impressed how they took me. Like I know you guys were talking about how like the build up moments like with Rocket and may have not hit for you, but for me, like I felt like they actually did a real good job at making you care about Michael Rooker's character, because at the end when he does do the sacrifice for Peter Quill, I was like, wow, that was really cool, and I actually cared when he died. At the beginning of that movie, I wouldn't have cared. I mean, I would have been like,
yeah. I guess I could agree with that.
They did a real good job at like making you care when he died, and especially like the father-son relationship that they had.
I think for me, there just wasn't enough to like get me emotionally invested in the whole father-son thing, because it was all turmoil between the two of them, where he just felt like he was the kid that got kidnapped by this guy and was basically held prisoner for that whole time. And all they showed was like one little flashback of him teaching him how to shoot as a kid. And that's like, and it just never really felt like they developed that father-son backstory enough for me to actually care that much about it when he died.
Like early enough in the movie, I agree.
I just felt like there needed to be more of like why.
Well, you got to think because
or
they
how
were
he
also
actually felt about him, because in the whole first movie there was none of it, and then they were trying to put it in there a little bit in the second.
At the beginning of this one, like Peter Quill still thinks that Yondu only brought him on board just because he was small enough to fit in spaces and whatnot. But you find out later that it was because Ego was tracking down his demigods, if you will,
His descendants, to see if they had the
they had the power.
celestial gene.
Yeah. He was just killing them, and when Yondu found out that's exactly what was going down, he kept him, and then helped him grow from there. But I think that's kind of the big thing, is that when do they make the decision to tell the audience that there was a reason why he took him? If you do it too soon, then there's no point for it. And if you wait too long, I mean, then you get where more people are going to see it like you do.
See, and I agree. Like I said, I agree with you because it did kind of seem like they kind of like waited till the last second to be like, oh, let's develop this father-son relationship
like it
that
just
wasn't ever
needed
developed.
Maybe like a flashback scene that actually showed
Yeah.
some loving
But
relationship between
yeah.
the two of them at one point in their life, because all you ever see is just that minute where he's just like showing him how to shoot a gun.
But I do agree with you though. Like I actually ended up caring at the end, like Yondu died a little bit, and I thought it actually was awesome when, because it was kind of odd that Yondu and Rocket had that little moment right at the end. But then when Rocket actually called all of the Ravagers or whatever, and they came and gave him a proper funeral, I was like, that's kick-ass, actually. I really liked that a lot.
That was
Yeah.
a cool moment. Yeah, for sure.
And when
I just didn't like
Because it was very
Stallone-
deserving of Yondu, because like you said, like I know Joel doesn't necessarily feel the same way as far as like making
because if
care
you
for his
listen to the
character.
beginning, like the reason they was kicked out of the Ravagers is because they found out what was going on with kids. Like that's something that Stallone says. He's like, we don't fuck with kids or whatever he says. I don't remember exactly what it was. And then you find out that it all comes full circle. And then at the end, Stallone's character ends up taking basically saying that he was a Ravager to the end and all that good stuff.
Well, he told him
I really
earlier.
enjoyed it.
He told him earlier that he didn't take any. He wasn't happy that he had to exile him.
Yeah, and like you said, you learn why he kept Peter and everything like that, but it wasn't really the reason why he kept him, like because he found out what Ego was doing to the kids and killing them because they didn't have the gene or whatever. It was just more that like I just didn't feel invested in that relationship between Peter and him. It's like I get that Yondu made a choice to save a kid, but you didn't see that relationship of the father-son relationship that developed between him and that kid, because it was all just like a bunch of bullshit for a long time. In the whole first movie, you just see him as a guy who was selfish and didn't bring him to his father, and then like I don't know, Peter had nothing but resentment for him, and there was never you never saw any of the backstory that actually showed him liking or them liking each other.
I never really saw resentment. I saw kind of like I kind of saw it as like buddy cop like movie type thing.
Well,
And
you
that
could
was
also
that's what I interpreted.
you could
at
also
least.
maybe think about it this way. Maybe you didn't actually see that relationship between the two of them as far as like the father son that they ended up developing in the last 10 minutes of the movie, or 15 or whatever it was. But the rest of the crew made a pretty good point earlier in the movie, and it was throughout the entire thing. And then when you actually think about the first movie, Yondu could have killed him anytime he wanted to, and he never did. So there's clearly a reason why, because he didn't have any problem killing other people on the ship or killing the rest of the crew. He was the only one. And then earlier in the movie, the crew was saying, you're always soft on him. You never blah, blah, blah. So you could almost say that they tried to develop it early and give you a sense that there's a reason why Yondu never
I
killed him.
100% get what they were going for.
Just what, but
it
like
just
you're
didn't
saying,
land
yeah,
for me
yeah.
as much.
And maybe
I could have used like one scene that was like a flashback of
I could have used more, but it did land for me.
Yeah.
So that's what I
that's
agree with both of you
it's
guys.
a
yeah.
personal thing, and like it just didn't as much as I thought it could. But I like what they were going for sure.
My other, I wouldn't say negative on the movie, but just another thing that I took away from it is it didn't do as good of a job as the first one did as being an ensemble feature. This one kind of felt like Star-Lord the movie in a sense, because it was so, I mean, he was the central piece of the story. And I get that's kind of going to happen, but with the first one, I never got that same feeling. I honestly can't say what I think you could change in the movie to make it so it wasn't that way. It was more like the first one to me. But that's just one thing that I personally noticed. I'm not complaining about it. I
tried to
love the
develop
Star-Lord story, but it didn't feel like it was.
It was the Star-Lord with the Guardians, not the Guardians.
Yeah.
But they also tried to develop more of the characters around them, like Yondu and Nebula and a little bit of Mantis, and I think it started to. It was hard to like get your fill of the core Guardians and try and like get some backstory and care about the other characters.
It would have had to be a 3-hour
like,
movie if you wanted to do that.
It's just so much going on, and you're right. It was just it felt more balanced, I guess, in the first one when it came to that story, and it was like main plot was Peter Quill centric. There was the supporting cast around him, and then they tried to bring in new supporting cast as well to try and develop them, because the whole Nebula thing just kind of happened out of out of nowhere. Like they caught her in the first scene, and then all of a sudden they fight and then decide not to kill each other.
And apparently
like,
Marvel can't decide what they want to do with Nebula because she says that Thanos ripped her arm off, but then in like one of the comics that literally was tied to the original Guardians movie, it was tied to that. It shows that she cut her own arm off, like because she was trapped, and it's kind of weird. Kind of weird. There's just some.
Well, she did
some
rip her own
fuckery
arm off in the first movie.
But it was a robotic arm
Yeah.
that she ripped off.
Yeah, there was a tie-in comic that was directly tied in for the movie. That was like a prequel to, and it was like focused on Gamora and.
Did she ever say that Thanos took her arm off? She said Thanos replaced pieces of her every time she lost to Nebula. Like, but she never.
She said specifically. She said specifically her arm.
I don't remember that, and I don't believe you at all.
Either way, though, if she would have said that would have just been what you just said too. How she was saying that every time that she lost, he replaced a part of her body with something to help, and it never helped.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of have a feeling that Nebula is going to be like the tie-in for the Guardians to the Avengers somehow. Like 'cause she's out on her own now, and maybe I don't know. That's just a theory of mine that I feel like Nebula is going to be that tie-in where she'll either get caught up in Thor's shit or
I was gonna say
she might be on that.
Because at the end you saw Jeff Goldblum dancing. You guys see that?
Yeah.
So this movie also got me really excited to see what's gonna happen in Thor. Because it's obviously Thor is going to be mostly in space, or for the most part, it's going to be on Planet Hulk or whatever they end up calling it, whatever the planet's called.
Yeah.
But the way that this movie left off, like you said, with Nebula leaving on her own, they're still in space, like everything that's going on. Some of this had to have resonated somehow to where Thor is at. So, like I think they at one point did they fly over some like people fighting on that planet?
It could have been.
Definitely possible.
When they were going through all the
the
different
jump.
dimensions. Yeah.
I'm sure there was a
that part
ton
was
of
totally
Easter eggs.
juvenile, but I laughed my ass off during it.
Yeah, with the faces
all
up.
fucked
I
up.
think if you went back through it, though, I could have, and I could be wrong. I think they flew right over that battle arena. I think so.
They could
I could be wrong, but I think they so. But I mean, there's enough things that were happening that it's like this movie makes me super excited for Thor because I feel like these two movies are going to be tied together somehow.
And I feel like Thor's going to, in some way, he's either just going to run into at least one of the Guardians or like Nebula or somebody in that movie because this is like the last chance for them to bridge.
I hope it's only
the
one.
gap.
I hope it's only one because they got a lot going on in that movie already as it is, and then
I could see
Doctor
like
Strange is in it.
Yeah.
And then the Hulk's in it. It's just maybe just one person,
could
one
see,
quick
like,
thing
Nebula
just to tie them
or
together.
Basically,
That's all
I
need.
could see any of the Guardians being on that planet while they're fighting, like in that arena. Just for some reason, they're there for a mission.
I think it's going to be Nebula. I think she's going to find her way there somehow.
I feel like this is the only chance they really have to tie them together before Infinity War, though, to bring the cosmic and the Earth-centric ones together.
Yeah.
Because right now the only one that's cosmic and Earth-centric is Thor. And so, like, if he's going to meet up with the Guardians of the Galaxy and bring them or make an alliance or something like that, it has to happen in Ragnarok before because that's the last movie before.
Yeah, they won't have any other
War.
opportunities to tie that together. Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah, now they just got Spider-Man in June, and then
so that means we should not just be excited that this is a thing. We should be excited that it has to be, right? You would assume that this has to be a tie-in between these two,
unless it's just something that
I hope they
do
have
an Infinity War where like Thanos is attacking on Earth, and then like they were tracking. That's another reason I think it might be Nebula is that she's like tracking down Thanos now, and if Thanos is going for the Infinity Stones, one of those is on Earth in the Vision's head, and so like she's tracking him, he's tracking that. And then that could end up like bridging that gap there.
But the options are minimal now.
Yeah.
It's crunch time.
Yeah.
Talking about like tie-ins and like different tie-ins with the movies and whatnot. These post-credit scenes, although the Stan Lee one was cool, it was like, oh hey, that was like a nice little nod. Mm-hmm. Other than that, I was kind of like, I was really let down. I was like,
Yeah, I was hoping for something that would like tease to the future. I mean, the only thing it really did was
the
the
gold
Adam
people
Warlock.
sucked. Like the gold people just were so fucking obnoxious to me.
I
as
thought
a whole,
that was cool. I liked them.
I liked how
hated
they were
the-
basically a
the
bunch of kids in an
arcade.
arcade.
Yeah,
I thought
I
that was
hated it.
funny, like when they were all like behind the last guy remaining. Like,
And then once he gets killed, he's like, "You suck."
I thought that was kind of funny, but I think the gold people were underutilized in this movie. I can't even remember what they're called, but
what were they
but
called?
Aisha, the leader
The
of
leader
them,
of them,
is like the genetic twin of Adam Warlock in the comics. And so they're obviously a setup for Adam Warlock later, and I think Aisha and those golden folk are going to be a lot more in the third one because Adam Warlock's going to be a part of that.
I think these post-credit scenes, though, you wouldn't make that comment if that was the only post-credit scene, because that was awesome. If that was the only one you got, like, oh god, that was awesome. It's foreshadowing to something, but it's because they gave you four.
But
of
I thought
them.
it was stupid. I thought it was stupid that they introduced the what were they called? We'll call gold fucks. They introduced the gold fucks at the beginning. Had me care zero about that entire subplot, and then brought it back at the end. I mean, had them spit in here and there and whatnot when they were trying to attack them on their own ego. But I mean, it fell entirely flat for me. I wasn't impressed by them when they were on the planet. I wasn't impressed by them when they were attacking them.
Well, they were just an
and then at
extra.
the end, I mean, I don't know. I personally don't know anything about Adam Warlock. Sorry.
They were
Not a
essentially
very good
they were
nerd,
essentially a vehicle to announce Adam Warlock.
I know, exactly.
They were a
That's
launching
what
off
I'm
point
saying.
for the movie, though. Too. I mean, they were supposed to be tied to Adam Warlock, by the end, obviously, but yeah, they were just kind of a launching off point for the movie. That's why they were like. I mean, they weren't very well developed in any way, shape, or form. It was just like they.
Yeah, 'cause I see what you're saying. They were
Rocket
second
was
thought.
a dick, stole some batteries, and that made them have to run, which made the Ego have to save them, which made them have to go to Ego, and then they came back at the end because they needed another obstacle, and so
Yeah.
it was not. They weren't even very involved.
They were an afterthought.
Yeah. So.
This is how we're going to start the movie, and then this is.
But they might
and we're
be.
going to
They
use
might
them
be
to-
bigger in the last one or the next one.
We start the movie with them. This is how the problem starts. We end it with them. We get to announce Adam Warlock.
I'm wondering if they're going to actually do anything with the Ravagers, also the original Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, I think
I mean, they
think
wouldn't bring
have to
Sylvester
be.
Stallone on for like 3 scenes, right?
Yeah, there's no way.
Unless it was just a really cool homage to the original Guardians.
I mean,
Because I can't imagine they paid
They had,
Sylvester
they had
Stallone.
some like decent stars in there. Like part of it, like the guy that was covered in crystal, that was Michael
Yeah.
Rosenbaum.
Yeah, I saw
the guy
who
who
they
played
car-
Lex Luthor in Smallville. Yeah, Miley Cyrus
Or
was the voice
Impastor.
of that robot.
or the guy from Impastor.
No, Lex Luthor in Smallville.
Smallville sucked.
Smallville was amazing. He ran for 10 seasons.
Hey, channels love having shitty shows that go for long runs. I mean, ask Chris how he feels about Friends.
Oh god, that show can fuck off. It's not funny even a little bit.
I mean, I don't agree with them.
Yeah, Friends was
But-
great.
Everybody, different strokes for different folks, I guess. But we were talking about the third one. Big news. I mean, not big news, but everybody's really relieved. I'm sure that James Gunn signing on for number 3, and that's actually a really big deal because the only person who's ever done like a part 2 to anything in the MCU is Joss Whedon, who did Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
And so we're getting like the most tenured director in the MCU, and who has a solid.
Well, didn't Favreau do the second Iron Man?
I think he did 2 Iron Mans.
So let me double check.
I don't. I mean, it's not like a really great follow up.
It was actually
the
a
worst
terrible
ones.
follow. It was my least
But
favorite.
I just
Still
for
made
some
noise.
reason thought he did the first 2.
I'll check the IMDb or the. Oh no, he did do direct.
Yeah, so I
Iron
thought
Man.
he did 2 of them.
You did not do.
Are you guys Iron Man 3 haters?
I like Iron Man 3.
Okay,
I didn't mind it.
I liked it a lot. I
I liked how
especially
they
liked
did
that
the
it was a Shane Black movie. Like
I like how they did the Nemesis storyline because I always loved the Nemesis storyline from the comic books. Or is it Nemesis? Is that what the shit is called? That like power.
Oh,
them
no,
up? What's it called? I can't even remember now.
What is it?
fuck. And
It's
then-
like the shit they were
Can you
injecting into the
regulate?
shoulders.
What were they
The
called?
soldiers, and they were like getting all fiery.
Oh,
They're
yeah, I
just
don't
giving
remember
him
what
the
it
strength.
is.
I
Yeah.
want to say it was like Syntax or something. I don't remember. But yeah.
Look it up.
Oh. Hold on. More work for me. later
Anyway,
on.
while you're looking that up, so final thought. Did you love the movie, Joel?
Yeah, loved it. Extremis. Yeah.
Extremis.
There you
That's
go.
what it was called. Yeah, I love the movie. I'll probably see it again in theaters at least one more time. And I have no complaints. It was everything I expected it to be. It didn't surprise me in any big way, which I think was the big. Like, the first one just blew everyone out of the water because no one knew what to expect from it.
Nobody expected anything huge out of it.
Nobody knew who the Guardians were. Either.
Because the
It's
craziest thing about it is
And
the Guardians of the Galaxy hasn't been a comic that's been around for a long time. It had been around for maybe 10 years at that time.
Well, that one. It's been around for a very long time.
Well, yeah, those characters, I mean.
Yeah, that's that like specific core of
Yeah.
Guardians for sure. But no, that I don't know. It was everything I wanted it to be, and I loved it. And that's a good compliment that you can give to like superhero movies these days, because a lot of times they're not even close to what you want them to be.
Justin, did you love it?
I loved
DC
it.
universe.
I really did. I really enjoyed it. I really, like I said, it hit me in the feels at the end. I always love a movie that like makes me realize that I do have a soul at some point.
Especially if they can squeeze that into a superhero movie.
Yeah, because it's. I mean, I'd probably say the superhero movies I like the most are the ones that kind of get you a little bit right there.
And I also loved it too. Like, I think the biggest thing is what you said, Joel. They didn't leave me missing anything. They didn't. It was what I expected when I liked it. Could I have it's like I don't think there's anything I wanted more of, other than maybe a couple of plot things.
All right, well, we're at an hour. Do we want to do?
No, we're good. It's already an hour.
Yeah.
Don't forget, we got to cut like 15 minutes of me looking for Johanna Jacek and finding fucking. What was the guy's name?
I'm good.
Johnny.
Johnny Paycheck.
Johnny Paycheck.
I think
15 minutes.
I think a 45-minute show is pretty
so
good.
fucking funny.
Yeah, we'll be at 45, 50 minutes.
We'll do what you've been digging on Friday.
We could do that. We could do
Oh
that
yeah,
instead
let's
of
do what you've been digging for Friday's show.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that instead of our top 10 because I feel
Yeah.
like, and that'll give us time to actually.
Let's do
We haven't said
haven't
said
said
so
goodbye yet.
long. Well, no, we got to do the spiel.
Oh,
Well, Joel's got to do the spiel.
All right. Well, thank you again for joining us at JockStrap Nerd Chat. As always, don't forget to like us and follow us on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and all the social medias. We'll have links below. Leave a review on iTunes and give us a subscription there if you can. Anything you can do for us, any social currency you can give us will definitely help us out in the long run.
it's free.
We are still doing our giveaway for our $50 gift card to the gaming store of your choice, online gaming store of your choice. Let's see, we just passed 100 subscribers on YouTube, so we already reached that one.
Doesn't mean to stop subscribing. Keep
Yeah,
going.
keep subscribing.
Keep subscribing. And
Keep telling your friends.
Facebook, I think we're short about 65 or 70.
yes,
right
Facebook,
now.
we're still pushing to get to 200 likes. But if you guys keep liking and sharing, you'll be entered to win that $50 gift card. So
We appreciate all the support we've gotten, though. We
love
got
it.
to 100 in less than a week.
Yeah, it freaking shot up. People really responding. I mean, right now we're sitting at 104, so good on you.
Yeah, it's great. We appreciate it, and we do this for fun, and you supporting it makes it valid for us, and makes it worth our time for sure. So, anything else?
Oh, I did put on the Twitter earlier today. So, we are going to Denver Comic-Con, so
Woo-hoo!
look out for that. That will be exciting. And also, so I put it on the Twitter, and I'll probably put it on the Facebook tomorrow or today or whatever this looks like to you.
The Twitter and the Facebook.
Well, no, because you're not talking about
I know.
Facebook as
Anyway,
a whole.
I know.
You're
So-
talking about the page.
I did it on Twitter and Facebook. Probably a week before Denver Comic-Con, I'm going to make an Instagram and a Snapchat so you guys can be there with us while we are there for 3 days.
And we're going to be doing tons of live streaming via YouTube,
That's at the end of June,
via
right?
Facebook. Definitely be on the lookout for that kind of stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited as fuck. I just bought my tickets the other day.
I'm going to buy them tomorrow.
All
now
3
that
days.
Now that I have an apartment, I know I can buy it.
All right. Well, anyway, thanks for watching us, and we will see you next time on JockStrap Nerd Chat.
Oh, no, I just forgot. I'm just kidding.
Oh, God. You know what?
The fuck out of here.
I'm fucking out of here.
Bullshit. Guys, this isn't professional. And the one guy that called Chris a contradictive cunt. He's definitely a cunt, but he's not really contradictive.
They called him a contradiction cunt, and that didn't even make sense.
Yeah,
Grammatically, it makes no sense. You're a contradiction. If you would have said
We have a troll.
contradictory
Is it a
cunt.
contradiction, cunt?
No,
Or is there no
he
comma?
called him a contradiction cunt. Not if it was a contradictory cunt, that would make sense. But it's like you're a contradiction cunt. It's like what is that? You're not even.
That just fuels us though. That
I know,
means
we
If
have-
you're
we
gonna troll us, just use grammar,
We
please.
have troll.
Oh,
We have
it's
a
never
troll.
going to happen. But yeah, we've had high five for the first troll.
Yes, troll.
Yes.
Try to pay that troll toll.
So you know what you do when you edit this. This is the funny stuff at the end because this outro is longer than fuck.